In the straw man, you misrepresented someone's argument to make it easier to attack. By exaggerating, misrepresenting, or just completely fabricating someone's argument, it's much easier to present your own position as being reasonable, but this kind of dishonesty serves to undermine honest, rational debate. So, essentially, what I like to highlight from here is just misrepresenting someone else's argument and doing it intentionally in a way to make it sound less reasonable while making your own position sound more reasonable. An example here is that after Will said that we would put more money into health and education, Warren responded by saying that he was surprised that Will hates our country so much that he wants to leave it defenseless by cutting military spending. And so, as you can see, putting more money into health and education doesn't mean that there'd be cuts to military spending or leaving the country defenseless. Certainly, by all means, it can, but that's where I believe that a clarifying question would come into play and would actually be a lot more ideal to do, in this regard. So by asking some of these clarifying questions and being able to actually figure out more concretely what someone's position is. Now, that being said, onto the straw man fallacy. I also think that it's important to ensure that we have someone else's argument correct. And so I do think that it can be very useful to be able to try to repeat in your own words what it is that someone else is putting forth in terms of an argument. That being said, as well, I mean, for example, when doing some sort of assignment in university and writing an essay, for example, or writing a report, typically the idea is not to plagiarize. And there's a multitude of ways to plagiarize, looking on Google to find different answers. And especially with Chat GPT now, I mean, I wasn't in university or any type of schooling while Chat GPT was available. So I could only imagine what it's going to be like now to have to deal with that. But the point is that there's going to be the way that the information is initially presented, and then there's going to be the way that you could present the same information in your own words. So there's multiple ways to be able to convey the same meaning with different content. What I do think can be a problem, and something that I've noticed, that, trying to be sure of someone else's argument can become really semantically reductive. So, say, for example, you're late. Yeah, I didn't arrive on time. Oh, I didn't say that. you know? For example, let's give me some more real estate over here just to add to the impact that I have to say. Another example would be, I have a subscription to Netflix and Disney Plus. Oh, so you have two streaming services. I didn't say that. Another example. I'm trying to eat less so that I can lose weight. Oh, so you're on a diet. I didn't say that. Another example. This is too much to ask. I don't think that I'm asking for a lot. I didn't say that. It's just essentially trying to represent someone else's argument can result in it being unproductive to an extent that someone else has to be literally exact and verbatim with the representation of someone else's argument. Someone is essentially establishing a premise with their statement and with language. There are multiple ways to communicate the same message and meaning. So it becomes semantically reductive to essentially declare that someone else is putting words in your mouth because they're using different content than the original interlocutor. Okay. So it just is someone trying to clarify what your position is, or even repeating what your position is in their own words. And then all of a sudden that can be a problem for some people, which does not add to making discussions, debates, conversations a lot more productive. I also do think that a version of the straw man can also be very useful, and that would be for the purpose of identifying what someone else's argument isn't. For example, don't watch Netflix or shows, don't go out partying, don't do any drugs, you know? Well, I don't want to be productive at every waking hour of the day. I want to chillax, recharge my battery, not take life seriously 24/7. It's not about straw manning the other person's position more so than it is about eliminating what isn't the other person's position, is the point I'm trying to get across.